Rural Vermont worked on a hemp bill this past legislative session, and we did get enacted into law a Hemp for Vermont bill in May of 2008. So we were very happy about that. I'm going to tell you a little bit about how we did that, and hopefully a little bit about how you can also do that in the state where you live, and hopefully also how we can all work on it at the federal level to make it a lot easier so we don't have to keep doing this piecemeal state by state, nation by nation approach, and we can all just get on board and do this. I wanted to just say a little bit about Rural Vermont for a minute, and also myself. I have a little confession to make. I am not a hemp zealot. I'm excited to be in this room full of hemp zealots. My passion is economic justice. Economic justice for family farmers is the mission of Rural Vermont, and that's why we work on hemp, because we believe that hemp as an agricultural product can help farmers to achieve economic justice, because they can use it as an additional crop, a crop that has not yet been commoditized in the United States, a crop that can bring them a fair price, which is what our goal always is. My background, as Eric said, I'm an organizer and I'm a strategist. So whatever issue I'm working on, I'm trying to win. That's my goal. Whether it's hemp or whether it's other issues that we're working on. Rural Vermont is known in the state, and accurately so, as the most grassroots organization in the state of Vermont. I've heard people say we're one of the most grassroots organizations in the country. I don't know if that's true. But the reason we work on issues is because our members ask us to. So that's exactly why we worked on the hemp bill in Vermont. Because we had members at Rural Vermont who wanted to be able to grow what we call agricultural hemp, and who wanted to move legislation forward, and that's why we worked on the issue. So when that happens at Rural Vermont, when our members identify an issue, what we do is we work on a campaign strategy, and we work with our members to carry it out. We spend time at the beginning to do the strategy work, which is what I'm mostly going to focus on today, because we don't want to waste resources on losing. We have limited resources. Our budget for the year is $200,000. That's our entire budget. We're a statewide organization. We have 3 full-time equivalent staff. We're a small organization in Vermont. And we can't afford to spend money on a campaign that we're not going to win, unless we're losing on purpose, which we have done, for other bigger reasons. So we do spend that time up front. And one thing that Rural Vermont is really focused on is helping people to take political action to create systemic change. So we're really interested in our members being politically engaged and to helping them to identify where the systemic change is going to happen. So we don't really like to work on things that are, just going to help for a year or two. We want something that's going to make a real change for farmers on the ground that we can see. So it's one of the reasons we really like the hemp issue, because we do believe it is a systemic change issue. We do believe it will not only change farming, not only in the state of Vermont, but across the nation, but also that it's an opportunity to really change the way agricultural products get sold. Because as I mentioned, it's not yet commoditized. The commodity system is the farmer's worst enemy, in my opinion. We do use an organizing model that I developed, and it's called Action Circles. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that, but it is something that I'm happy to talk to you about later on individually if you want to do that. I'm so excited, I never get to use PowerPoint. So the first thing we do when we're working on a campaign, on any campaign, is we do a power analysis. Power analysis is simply that. Where is the power? Who has the power to do what you want to do? And where is your power? And how do you make sure that you get the power to do what you want to do? So a lot of times when you do your first power analysis, you find out there's a certain group of people who have power and they're not on your team. So what you need to do is you need to find where your power is and shift the balance so that you get more power than the people who are currently in power, and then your team wins. So some of the questions you ask when you're doing a power analysis is what's already happened, where is the support, who is on your team already, who do we need to target, and where is our power? And who do we need to target is a key question, which I'll talk about a little bit more in a minute, but put a little circle around that if you're taking notes, because that's really the key. So what had already happened in Vermont is that a bill had been introduced for several years, over and over and over again in the state. We had several legislators who actually really supported this piece of legislation. A study had been done regarding the economics of growing hemp in Vermont that had, very positive outcomes several years ago. And what we found is that in the legislature, there was a lot of support for this bill, and the main issue was it had never gotten out of the Ag Committee in order to be considered by the full body. Mostly because people didn't want to vote on the bill. That's sort of a little problem that you have a lot. But we sort of realized that if we could get it out of committee, we could probably get it passed by the full House and the full Senate. So one of the issues is that, it's not a priority. It's a difficult thing to make hemp a priority because nothing happens when your bill passes, because you still have the federal issue. So our real challenge was how to make it a priority issue. The other thing you want to look at in this process is what is your best route to winning. In Vermont, we had to go through the legislature because that was our best bet for how to make a bill pass. If you live in a state where you can do a ballot measure, maybe the ballot measure is your better option. We can't do those in Vermont. Maybe you have county level government that can pass county level bills to begin to organize support. So really think through in your state or whatever your jurisdiction is, what's the best route to go? If you have a lot of money, court, maybe the judicial process is maybe your best bet. We didn't have a lot of money. So we knew that our goal was we had to make it a priority issue, and we had to make sure we had the votes in especially the House Agriculture Committee, but in all 4 committees of jurisdiction, which in our case was the House and Senate Agriculture Committee and the House and Senate Judiciary. So then we looked at what's our power. Our power, Rural Vermont's power, is our activist base. We have members and activists in every single legislative district in the state of Vermont, and our people know what's going on, they have skills, they're very educated on the issues, and they know how to lobby their legislators, because that's what we do all the time, and I'm going to talk a little bit about that